Hey car fanatics, so I'm going to try something new today, and I'm going to talk about whether it makes sense to purchase a car as an investment, and particularly a Porsche. In general, purchasing a car is actually a terrible financial investment. Porsches are no exception, unless you're able to purchase a really limited edition car such as the GT3 RS. You're able to turn that around for a profit immediately. So when I purchased my car, it was something I had always wanted for a while. I was debating whether I should use some of my cash to put a down payment on the car, or if I should just straight up finance it. For me, I was able to get the interest loan on this car with an interest rate of just 2.5%. So if you consider inflation, which averages around 2 to 3% a year, it's almost free money. Now, let's say you're in a situation where you have cash and you can buy a car. Would it make sense for you to actually purchase that vehicle with cash, or should you finance it? Well, it really depends on your credit and what kind of interest rate you can get. If the interest rate is really low, like 2 or 3%, it would make sense for you to take out that interest rate, and here's why. You can use that cash you have to actually invest it and make more money off of it. So you could put that money in an S&P 500 index fund. You wouldn't have to manage it, and the S&P typically returns about 8% per year. So you'd be making that money. So let's use an example of purchasing a $100,000 car. Let's say you just happen to have $100,000 in cash laying around. At 8% returns, you could make over 5 years about $40,000 on the $100,000 you're investing. Now, if you took out a loan on a $100,000 vehicle over 5 years, it was at a 3% interest rate, you'd be paying about $8,000 in interest. So you'd make $40,000 from your investment, you'd pay $8,000 in interest, so you're netting $32,000. So that's a pretty good deal. On the other hand, if your interest rate that you qualify for based on your credit is pretty high, let's say 5%, over the course of 5 years on a $100,000 car, you'd be paying closer to $16,000 in interest. Now, it would still make sense for you to take that $100,000 and invest it in the stock market and make your 8% return, because that's still an additional 3% over the interest you're paying. But then you do have to factor in risk. And I guess my final advice would be whether you should purchase a Porsche 911 or whatever vehicle you're looking at. If you're going to finance the vehicle, after your car payment, interest, all of your living expenses, you should still have about 30 to 40% of your income that you can still set aside each month for savings. That's what I would recommend in terms of making the decision whether you are in the right financial state to purchase a Porsche 911 or whatever car you're considering. And then the final thing I would say is that I've seen a lot of YouTubers who are really young, maybe teenagers, or YouTubers in their early 20s with really fancy cars like Lamborghinis and so forth. I can tell you guys, don't try to keep up with those folks. They're either probably bankrolling their vehicle purchases via their parents, perhaps they have a side business, maybe their YouTube is spitting out a decent amount of income. But for some of these kids out there who have $500,000 worth of cars in their collection, I can probably tell you they didn't make that money themselves. So don't feel pressured to, get a really nice car, at an early age. Work hard for it. Make sure you're in the right financial state when you do make that purchase, because ultimately that's going to allow you to enjoy your car more, since you won't be worrying about other financial expenses that might pop up. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave any questions or comments below.